Lightly I fly when I live in laughter. Lightly I fly when my heart sings. Lightly I fly when I live in laughter. Lightly I fly when my heart sings. Lightly I fly when I live in laughter. Lightly I fly when my heart sings. Fling to the ground every heavy burden. Now I can soar up above the clouds. Fling to the ground every heavy burden. Now I can soar up above the clouds. Lightly I fly when I live in laughter. Lightly I fly when my heart sings.
You ought, indeed, those who come here, and I don't say that everybody should live here, everybody belongs to this family and so on. There are many times that I've recommended to people that they join some other spiritual work, because I'm not trying to swell the ranks of this army. We're just here loving and serving God together. Somebody asked me, what is Ananda's mission? And I said, we're here to have fun. I meant much more than that, but I didn't want to say more because I don't like that sort of grandiose self-importance that people get into if they talk too much in terms of mission. But fun to me meant joy, and joy to me meant God, and so you can see that I meant much more. When people come here and feel that, wonderful. But remember that just feeling it isn't enough. Just thinking, I've seen this happen. I've seen it happen especially in groups that are very sort of emotional in their taking everybody to their hearts. I sort of had this feeling at Findhorn the first time I went there that the unwritten motto there was, if it moves, hug it. And it just seemed like you couldn't turn a corner without being waylaid by somebody who was there to hug you. And some people feel a sort of a great, oh, how wonderful, this great sort of all-embracing human warmth. But an emotional feeling like that is it's not arriving. That's the thing, that you get into the delusion that you've arrived, because here's a group of people who love me so much and they're so warm and everything's going to be all right from now on. Well, any group that gives you that feeling too quickly is likely to give you the delusion of compromise, to think, well, it's all set, I don't need to do anything more. I'd much rather be in an environment where there's challenge, where there's the need to growth. Master didn't, it was obvious that he loved us, but I never saw him expressing that kind of love to people who hadn't yet learned to meet him on a high spiritual level.
Good morning again, friends. I'd like to start with a brief reading. Swami Sri Yukteswar named his hermitage association Satsanga, meaning fellowship with truth. The word Sangha refers to fellowship with other human beings with similar spiritual aspirations, as well as fellowship with God in meditation. That's from Ananda online. And then from How to Be a Success, this wonderful book by Master. He says here, we must be careful with whom we associate because we are continually exchanging magnetism with other people through our thoughts, through shaking hands, and through looking into the eyes of another person. As soon as we shake hands with someone, a magnet is formed. The person who is the stronger gives his vibration to the other person. We become like the people we mingle with, not through their conversation, but through the silent magnetic vibration that goes out from their bodies. When we come within the range of their magnetism, we become like them. It's a very, very important topic and a very important words from Master. I remember years back when I was living on my own, and I was a part of Ananda, but let's put it that way, a part. And another part of my life was going on other tracks. And then they started an ashram in Palo Alto. I was living and working in Palo Alto. And they had a bookstore there as well, East-West Bookshop. And I went there to the bookshop. I really liked all the people. I had been at Ananda Village in a program, and people had said, well, Dhyana, why don't you move into the ashram in Palo Alto? We've got a bookshop, we're starting an ashram. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to do that. And so I went to the ashram every day because I liked the bookshop. It was right near the house. I liked the people. They lived in the ashram. And I went every day, and we went out. We did play sports. We played tennis together. We would come back. We would meditate. Then we'd have dinner every day. So then people said, that went on for some time. And then people said in the ashram, well, why don't you move in because you're coming every day? No, I'm not going to move in because I want to be on my own. And they said, okay. So after a while, Master made it so clear that I had to move in. Some circumstances happened. And so I did move in. And what the meaning of this, telling you this, was the joy I felt. Still, that was like 35, 40 years back, the joy I felt at moving into that house. There were only 4 or 5 other people. I didn't really know them. I lived in a tiny room with another woman on the floor, on a futon. But the joy of getting into that environment with spiritually minded people, meditating every day, having deep discussions, having joyful times together, but the vibrations of that house and those people were completely different from what I was used to. And it was, I just can't tell you how uplifted I felt from just moving in. And you can't always do that. And I've lived with Ananda ever since, but you can't always do that, but you can keep that vibration around you and seek it out and seek the company, seek satsang with other stronger devotees, seek it out at the centers, be a part of the vibration. Master told 2 disciples to come and visit him as much as they could. They were both very wealthy. It was Oliver Black and Rajasi. And they have many responsibilities. And one always came and one very rarely came. And Master said, look at him, he's bogging down and he doesn't know why, but it's because he doesn't come. People sit at home and they think, oh, I don't have to do anything. I'll just sit home and get the vibes. But as much as the more you can integrate and associate and dive into the vibrations of the Sangha and have satsang with others, it makes a huge, huge difference. I'm a complete believer because I just wanted to just not have satsang, but once I saw, I was actually drinking this nectar every day by being in association. And you can think of how much that helps you to progress spiritually. Your thoughts change into more positive thoughts. The worries, you say, I'm worried about this. You get in the satsang and you just step into the center. And our centers, you feel like, oh my gosh, your worries seem smaller. The problem seems smaller because it's just, there's a vibration, there's a blessing, there's a grace, there's joy, there's peace. It changes your consciousness to be in satsang. Don't think you can go on your own. And you can think of, even in different things in our worldly life, if you're a runner and you run with other runners, and I see them running here in Delhi, and it's beautiful to see. Sometimes there's 100 people there running through, on the streets preparing for a marathon. Then they're all helping each other. You see in an orchestra, which I played in, for a lot of years, and everybody's helping each other to play the right notes. I mean, you can't be off. And different things that you do, when there's healing prayers, you feel a vibration of satsang, of everyone praying. When you meditate together, the 8-hour meditation is coming up for Christmas, and you feel everyone is helping everyone else. It's satsang, kirtan. You feel there's a big energy that's just pushing everyone forward. Or you can be off on your own trying to make it by yourself. And so I was reading a very interesting book, by the way, about Rafa, Rafa Nadal, and then Federer. And the greatest tennis players maybe that ever lived, I don't know, but they're certainly great tennis players. And Federer just retired. So I just watched a clip from his retirement time, and he was weeping. And Rafa, these are just great. They're just great people, not just tennis players. And he was weeping as well. And both of them were saying that the other one made them what they were, made them as good as they were because they had the competition. They became friends, but they kept spurring each other on to become better and better. And on the path, we're helping each other to become better and better. I remember I lived at Ananda house in San Francisco as well. And we, in the beginning years of that beautiful mansion, and there were 30 people in that house. And we got up like, it was 5 or 5:30, so everybody could be at the sadhana. And then we go meditate together downstairs in the meditation room, in the basement. And I mean, you got up because you knew everybody else was getting up. Sometimes you didn't get up, but most of the time you got up. It was early morning, and you went down in the meditation room because you knew the other people were going to be there. And that satsang does that. It pushes you to do better instead of, oh, nobody's around, nobody sees me, so I won't meditate today, or I'll just do a short meditation, or I'll skip the energization. But when everybody's doing it, you just feel like, what's the problem? Because there's an energy pushing you forward. This is what we have to remember. Satsang, fellowship with others, pushes you forward. I'm just coming back from Ananda, Pune. Wow, too much joy. I mean, there were people from, I think, 14 different cities, even from, I think, Spain and various places. But what a wonderful family we have to associate with such high souls. I just felt so uplifted just to be in their company. And there were days and days of programs. And then the same happened in Gurgaon and in Delhi, and Jyotish and Deviji's programs in Chandigarh and Calcutta. And now it's happening in Bangalore, then to be in Mumbai. And the association with such high souls, it just brings so much upliftment and joy and freedom. And you just feel after you with such, in such circumstances, you just feel like you can do anything and you can make progress spiritually. So association with others and seek it out, as I say. And also through our books and music and that satsang. Master said he put his vibrations in Autobiography of a Yogi. When Swamiji said, I liked your book, he said, that's because I put my vibrations in it. And meaning you open those books. I mean, sometimes I open the books we have and I just say, just that my eyes can look at these words. What a blessing. What a blessing that I even have any association with Swami Kriyanandaji, with Master and with all the masters. And then the music that we listen to, it's satsang. It's very uplifting. Swamiji said, if you want to get to know me, listen to my music. So you're associating with him. As you hear his music, you listen to other music, you're associating with that person, whoever it is. And so having the picture, looking in the eyes of the guru, just the final point is the guru's vibrations. That's the deepest satsang you can have with God and guru as you meditate, and just try to pierce through the darkness and just know that the master is there with you and he wants to meditate with you. And to those who think me near, he said, I am near. And in your meditation tonight or tomorrow, just try to just pierce through the darkness and see those eyes, the eyes of the guru, looking at you, helping you, blessing you, loving you. That's the highest satsang. And Lahiri Mahashayji, he said, I'm with all those who practice Kriya, feel him with you. And to those who think me near, I'm near, as Master said. And Babaji, Lahiri Mahashayji said of Babaji that anyone who calls with devotion to Babaji will receive an instantaneous blessing. What a high satsang with Babaji. I've heard stories of people who've gone to Babaji's cave who had troubles walking up or lost their shoe or whatever happened. And somehow they got help walking up to the cave. And that's Babaji's blessing. And in our Kriya, finally, to remember is that the masters want to meditate with us. I remember a man who had a lot of problems with Kriya. I just did the best I could to help him. This was in America, and he was so mental, he just couldn't feel anything. But then after about 3 months, I saw him again, and he asked me to check his Kriyas, and he was just weeping. And I said, what have you done? It's so different. You're doing Kriya now properly and deeply. And he said, well, I realized I had to ask Master to help me. I had to be with him to do my Kriya. Remember it. And one man who was, we sent him the Kriya lessons in Bolivia from America. And he was the first person that we sent a packet of Kriya talks. We made special tapes. There were tapes and talks. And we had the written lessons and that we made and everything, and the rose petals and everything. For those of you Kriya bonds, you would know. So we sent to him the whole packet, and I was serving in the Kriya Sangha in America then. So I called him after, I don't know, some time, a week or so, and I just asked him, did he get the packet? And we had a bad connection, and so I was shouting in the phone, did you get the packet? And he was shouting back, and I could barely hear him. He could barely hear me. And I just said, did you understand everything? And I said, did you understand? I named the different parts of Kriya. And did you understand this and that? And then he finally said, I understood everything. Because when I didn't, I prayed to Master, and a light appeared. And he told me what to do. And I just hung up the phone at that point. I thought, he doesn't need me. He's got a direct link with the guru. And so let's remember that the satsang with Guru Bhais, the satsang with all of our masters, the satsang with the guru, the satsang with Divine Mother, the satsang, if you can't do anything more, satsang by reading the books, listen to the music, have it a part of your life. Satsang going to the center, satsang online, be a part of the online community, home study family. but be a part inside of the Sangha. And instead of on the sidelines, hoping that you're going to get the same, you won't. We've tried it. It doesn't work. Be a part. Put your heart into it. And you know, when you're feeling low and the Guru Bhais call you, they pray for you, they come visit you. And when you step in the center and you're giving to the other Guru Bhais, really, there's no association like that. What a great gift that we have the ability to have so much satsang every day of our lives. God bless you all. And I'll ask my friend and brother Nitendra to join me, and my Guru Bhai to join me.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. We have a bunch of questions. The first one, Dhyanaji, is sometimes I feel that a particular topic of a satsang is also covered in some book. So is there additional value in attending such satsangs?
Oh, come on now. I mean, really, you just get it from a book or you get it from a person. I mean, if you're getting it from Master straight, even he sent people to other disciples for blessings, for Kriya initiation. I mean, people who say I'm only going to get it from the book or the lessons, I can say my own experience, I did that. I only had lessons before Ananda from another organization, and I was completely lost. I learned energization from the lessons. I learned the Hangsa from the lessons. I learned the Om technique from the lessons. I learned the Kriya from the lessons. And I didn't know what I was doing until I got there with somebody can say, hey, that's not how you energize. You're not doing it right. What are you doing in meditation? You're sleeping. What are you doing over here? Your Kriyas are wrong. Let me check you. And so, good heavens, get with somebody who can help you. And the blessing of Ananda is we have so much help. We're all helping each other, supporting each other, encouraging each other. And we're more than willing to help you. And so both and, I would say, study, read, all of that, but get help, my goodness. If you have the help, if you like, I learned violin and the cello. So this is great cellist that I took lessons from after I had learned the cello from another teacher and, you know, all of that. But as I was sitting with that cellist, my teacher, he was just sending this power into me that allowed me to play better, just sitting with him. He didn't say, stop, that note's wrong, that note's wrong. It was just this vibration that's just flowing into me. And I could play better because of that blessing, that vibration that was flowing from him. So that's what you get from a teacher, a class. I mean, you could just get the book on how to be a success and sit in your room and fall asleep while you're reading it. Or you can come to the class. So better to read and come and associate with others.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. The next question is, I'm too new to Ananda. So is there anything that I can offer rather than just continue to receive while being in satsang with long-time devotees?
Now, let me just make this clear. Satsang is two ways. It's not one way. I just take. So how do you receive from the Guru? You have to be open, you have to be willing, you have to be uplifted, you have to do your part. And even in a satsang, you should be praying for the person giving the satsang. You know, you see some people, they're like this. In the front row, it's like, come on, sit in the back if you're going to look like that. But you should be giving energy out. And when you're in a kirtan, sing, for God's sake. You know, I can't sing, you know, sing out with joy. If you're in the meditation, meditate the best you can. Don't fall asleep or look at your phone or read a book, you know, put out energy. And when you're at the center, ask the center leader, whoever's there, just say, how can I help? Bring the flowers, bring prasad. set up the chairs, and during whatever event it is, put out energy. It's a very good question. Put out energy. The more you put out, the more you're going to get. The less you put out, the less you're going to get. Somebody who's sleeping in the back, they're not going to get hardly anything. The person in the front, who does the teacher give the most to? The one who's giving the most. If the person in the front row, the teacher asks a question, I know, and the person in the back never raised their hand, who's going to get the most? When we learned Italian in Italy, we sat in the front row. The teacher only spoke Italian. That was difficult, but he said, who wants to come up here and be a part of this dialogue? I do. There were 5 or 6 of us. We couldn't speak a word, but we learned because we put the energy out.
Thank you so much, Dhyanaji. We have 2 more questions.
Okay.
Is there any special benefit of doing even outward activities like traveling, cooking, shopping, playing, along with Guru Bhais rather than with other friends and family who perhaps also have a different lifestyle?
Master said, have a spiritual bodyguard with you. Now that's pretty strong. And he said, don't go to restaurants. Now, Swamiji said, because of the vibrations, and Swamiji said it would be a sad life if nobody at Ananda could ever go to a restaurant. But he said, Master wouldn't go in. He would sit in the car and he had some dried fruits, nuts, whatever, and he'd have those in the car. He send the others into the restaurant, but he didn't go himself. But I said that so how strongly he felt about company. And some yogis, I've heard they don't eat on airplanes because of all the heterogeneous vibrations. So have somebody with you as much as you can who is a Guru Bhai, that travels with you, or, the least you can do, and the very least is have a book with you and the music. So you're in a place that has weird vibrations. I just start reading and I put on my headset and listen to Swamiji's music. And I'll do that on an airplane, so just be, most of it is being aware. People have no awareness. They go do anything. You go into a bar. Why are you in the bar? One time I wasn't at a bar, believe me, but I was at this occasion of somebody here. I was sitting there with all these other people who I didn't know, and the person who invited me was nowhere around. And the thought kept coming in my mind, why are you here? You should not be here. And it wasn't a bad event. It was just something I shouldn't have been at. And I was by myself. And I thought from that point on, I won't be in these situations anymore. It was clearly in my mind, Master saying, why are you here? So when you feel that and you hear that, don't go in those environments. And Swamiji, he was going through San Francisco, this sort of low vibration area. He was meeting a person who was going to help him with his music. And he felt all this bad vibration all around him in this area. And he said he just chanted Shri Ram Jai Ram the whole time till he found the place where he had to have the meeting. But don't just say, oh, it's okay. It's not okay. And you can do Om Tat Sat, hands front and behind you, as we've learned, energize before, chant in your mind, chant Om Guru. Don't go out just thinking it's okay. You come back, and when you come back, the other thing is cleanse your aura. Do more chanting, do more kriyas, cleanse your aura, because it's like smoke. You go in a smoky room, Master said you come out smelling like smoke. So don't think it's okay. It's not okay. Cleanse your aura and strengthen yourself afterwards.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. One last question. How was your experience to be in satsangs with Swamiji?
That's going to take a long answer, but I'll make it short. You would go in the room, maybe with some worries, and you come out and they were gone. That was the short answer, because you were so uplifted in his vibration. And it wasn't that he sat there and said, now your problem is this, now I'm going to help you. And I'll close with an example so people understand. So I was on the phone with Swamiji once in America. He was in India, and I was going through a difficult time, and he knew it. And but I had to be back in America to come back to India. So anyway, make a long story short. So somebody from here was one of the acharyas called me on the phone from Swamiji's house. And they were saying, well, how are you doing? I said, I'm not doing. Oh, yeah. And then they said, Swamiji just walked into the room. I said, don't give him the phone, please. Don't give him, please do not give Swamiji. Hello, Dhyana. I said, I was just so embarrassed. And he says, how are you? And I said, well, and he says, well, what are you doing? He didn't wait for the answer. What are you doing? He said, I try to think of something positive. And I said, well, I'm reading your book, Swamiji. He says, which one? I said, well, I'm reading The New Path. What chapter are you on? And every time he talked to me, my energy was lifting up. I said, well, I'm reading that chapter. What do you like about that chapter? What's the best story? He talked to me for like 10 minutes until my energy was up. He felt I was fine. Then he said, bye-bye. And that was Swamiji's influence. Amazing, isn't it?
Thank you, Dhanaji.
Okay, God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Natindra. Bye-bye.